Life is short is a saying as mainstream as they come. It suggests that we should try all we wish to do, to check off the boxes in our bucket list. The term YOLO, you only live once, also emerged as a mantra to live impulsively and perhaps dangerously. It implies that we should make the most of our short time while we're still breathing. So begs the question, how short is it? This is perhaps the wrong question to put forth. It is perhaps to better ask the question, how do we make the most out of it? And why is it so short? Is the idea of living for 70 years not enough? In this video, I'd like to share a quote that powerfully explains this. This one quote, which gives a good answer to the question of why it's short, is not one that spurs action, nor invokes inspiration and motivation. You probably know the ones. Believe in yourself. Don't give up. Just do it. And you'll find plenty more if you Google inspirational quotes. Admittedly, those are nice for a little pick-me-up during the day, and temporary boost to your morale, a push to keep you going until the end of your shift. But is using as much of our time to do what we want? Is this what defines a life well lived? Stoic philosopher Seneca commented on the shortness of life and highlights how our squandering affects our personal history, of how empty and short it can be depending on how we live it. It provokes not action, but thought. And so I quote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Life is long enough, and a sufficiently generous amount has been given to us for the highest achievement, if it were all well invested. But when it is wasted in heedless luxury and spent on no good activity, we are forced at last, by death's final constraint, to realize that it has passed away before we knew it was passing. So it is, we are not given a short life, but we make it short, and we are not ill-supplied but wasteful of it. Life is long enough if we know how to use it." End quote. I first heard this from a Devin Nash video wherein he shared his own shortcomings to being productive. Somehow, these words hit me harder than expected. This quote, rather than spurring me into immediate action, instead made me more aware of what I was doing every single day. It changed my paradigm, the way I view my time, and the meaning behind my actions. It is not that we have only a few years to live our life. It's that we make decisions every day that add nothing to fulfill us. And over time, slowly and often without us noticing, it compounds, with time spent unwisely vastly outweighing what was well spent. When you feel behind in life, seeing people around you advancing their careers, have a stable life, getting married, having kids, undoubtedly they will look as if they've figured things out while you're still stuck on the puzzle. It is then that we can look back to the time we've wasted, and how our indolence and hesitation suddenly became something we seem to have chosen. After all, it is only natural that we are tempted to take the path of least resistance, to put off exercise or work on our dreams, and instead sit in our rooms to binge on Netflix or play video games. Moreover, when we do leave the comfort of our home, we still cut off the world by constantly looking down on our phones. And I did realize that without thinking, I'd often pick up that controller, start the game, and play for 2 more hours. And another, and another. Often, it was not a conscious decision, which made me feel like I wasn't in control. It is what can be described as a habit formed of repetition, and breaking out of that cycle, as I myself am aware, is very difficult, as I'm still in it to this day. So, due to the difficulty of changing ourselves for the better, so it is that we must exert the effort to take responsibility for everything that we do, and therefore garner more control over our life, even in aspects that we seemingly have no power over, like the future of our health, stress, and motivation to keep working on our dreams.
Any danger of being, quote, burned out from motivation, or any danger of like that mindset, to me, is dwarfed by the enormity of this reality and how important it is that we gain control of our life and don't waste our time.
So, if life isn't short, how long can it be? By its end, you can have so many good stories that you'll become the grandparent that never runs out. You can achieve many small things that you never thought possible, that makes you proud of yourself. From something trivial as learning a magic trick, or riding a unicycle, to major accomplishments like finishing a marathon and raising a happy family. And while most will not stay, you can meet countless people, each one with a fond memory attached. It is not that life is short, and so we should make the most of it. It is that the meaning of our life shrinks the more we fall for pleasure, luxury, and vice. And it may be at the arrival of death that we realize how much more we could have done, but it is by choosing to live that will make it worthwhile. We should strive not only to use all the time we have to do things that we want, but also to choose wisely what it is we want. I quote from Seneca again, "As is a tale, so is life. Not how long it is, but how good it is what matters." In this channel, I usually talk about video games because they're mostly easy to write about. But this holiday season, I decided to impart this wisdom, and I hope it affects those that watch it, however little my audience is right now. 2021 may be ending, but a new year is upon us again. So let's continue to live and search for meaning. Merry Christmas.